The fight for Leon Valley is down to the wire, but wait until you hear what Joe Salvaggio has planned for the night before the election. Hello, I'm Justin Pulliam. Leon Valley residents are fighting for the future of their city, and on the ground, it looks pretty good for the challengers. They're out there campaigning, and the establishment councilors are not. But in case they go down, Salvaggio's political establishment has one more task before they leave, and it's bad. I'll tell you what it is in just a minute, and I also have a stand-up interview with Councilman Will Bradshaw coming up in a bit, because he's a stand-up guy. But first I want to say thank you to some of my supporters, the Liberty Leaders, for making this video possible. Thank you to Justice for all justice. I hope that my work creates the change that you would like to see in Leon Valley. Thank you to Frody Stranger, Silent Eater, Citizen Lens, Baldy McBalderson, Mike Newland, Jamie Cottle, and Arthur Clermont. I can't state in words how much I appreciate your support, so instead I'll keep churning out the hard-hitting videos and keep those coming. And if you'd like to help me confront government corruption, please consider joining my channel membership or giving via PayPal, Cash App, or regular mail. Links and information are in the video description below. Alright, here's the bad news. They're putting Salvaggio up for city manager again. And they're doing it the night before the election. How cute. And remember, this is all on overstayed time because this election was supposed to be held in May.
In my opinion, he's done a lot of things bad, a lot of things wrong. I make you question his decision-making ability, from hiring officers who were fired from San Antonio for hitting suspects, for calling them racial slurs, for kneeling on their necks. These kind of things. I would read the report of why they were fired and then throw away their resume. Like, there's no reason to even look any further after reading the police reports of why they were fired, and review the body camera footage and see what happened. And there's no reason to bring them in. There's that. There's the arresting of the auditors, the protesters in Leon Valley in 2018, where he called a fake press conference and he arrested all these people that were out there filming and protesting, and he arrested them all and took all their cameras and everything and said, "Oh, you're all under arrest because I'm pretty sure you did something wrong and you didn't identify yourselves as witnesses to a crime," which I'm sure happened somewhere. Right? It's really ridiculous. All those charges have been dropped, by the way. It's just a total lack of judgment, in my opinion. The city's under all kinds of litigation now. These people who have been arrested have lawsuits against them. I mean, even I have a lawsuit. I know of 3 lawsuits right now that he has pending against him. At the last council meeting, we voted to have a special council meeting on November 2nd, the day before the election. And they couldn't wait. The city manager told us that there was 5 zoning cases that had to get done. They're super urgent, so we have to have this special meeting. And so they scheduled this meeting for the day before the election. The city manager said that we need to have this meeting. It's important.
And then she didn't say why.
No, she said why. She said there was 5 pending zoning cases that needed to get done.
But what's actually going to happen?
But what I have found out now is there's only 1 zoning case on there. So now they have on this agenda, out of the blue, guess what? The city manager is resigning again, and I'm sure they're going to want to appoint Chief Salvaggio to be the replacement city manager again. And I did a poll on Nextdoor, the social media site Nextdoor, and over 300 people responded, and 85% said they do not think that Chief Salvaggio, the police chief, is a good fit to be the city manager. And the people that are in the council, they don't care what the citizens think. It's the opposite of the way it's supposed to work. They don't care. They think they know what's best for the citizens, and they want the chief of police, who was the city manager's student, to rule over the citizens, and more of the same old, same old.
And so what was the process that the council went through by selecting Salvaggio?
Yeah, Kelly, councilor, the city manager, recommended to the council that he take the place. And if I remember correctly, her words were, "You're not going to find anybody good because of the mess that the city's in."
Any applicant that you get that comes in is going to research Leon Valley, and they're going, you're not going to get very good reviews. Because of the dysfunctional reputation that this city currently has, it's no secret. It was just in the Express News, on a good Express News article yesterday. There's a division up here.
And so y'all had interviews with Salvaggio?
No interviews.
So how did this process work?
Kelly just recommended that that's who takes her place. And the majority on the council thought it was a great idea. They don't want the citizens to know what's going on. That the police chief is going to become the city manager because they don't want anybody to know about it. And then they spring it, even on us. And then they go into executive session and they already have a contract written out. And it's going to be super favorable for the chief. We're going to have 20 minutes, 15 minutes to review it. And they're going to rubber stamp it and appoint him the city manager that, he has zero experience as a city manager. They're going to give him a sweet deal, not like somebody that doesn't have any experience coming out. They're going to give him a sweet deal, just like the city manager got as she's leaving. And it's going to be, the next council is going to be stuck with him. The citizens are going to be stuck with him. All of this could be discussed in the open on the dais. The idea of hiring the chief or any city manager for that matter, what are their qualifications? What are they going to get? What are the citizens going to get? In a contract, the whole thing about it is it's supposed to be a two-way thing. It's, you give this and, we pay them, and what do we get from it, right? We get service, we get loyalty, we get their skills and abilities, whatever it is. But these contracts that I've seen, and I review contracts at work for suppliers and different things like that, supply agreements, this is totally one-sided, all in favor of the city manager and no protection for the citizens.
So it seems to me like the city actually is getting a worse contract and a less favorable position due to the secrecy.
That's correct. I agree with that.
Thank you, Will, for working day and night to make things better. I know this is not what you thought you were signing up for when you ran for city council. Hey guys, if you'd like to keep up on stories about Leon Valley and government corruption elsewhere, please be sure that you're subscribed to my channel and also enable all of the notifications. Don't count on YouTube to recommend my videos to you. They don't always promote controversial content. I publish on average 3 to 4 videos a week. It's content that I believe is highly produced and also important stories that you'll probably be interested in. So please subscribe if you're new here. And even if you're not, make sure that you're subscribed. I've been hearing lots of feedback still that people come and watch my videos and you're regular viewers and you notice, hey, I'm unsubscribed for whatever reason. They're giving Salvaggio a dream contract. This thing is crazy. $140,000 base salary. Premium payments to his personal life insurance policy, plus an additional $10,000 stipend. Approximately 36 days of leave per year, with any unused days cashed out when he leaves. Contributions to the Texas Municipal Retirement System equal to other employees, plus an additional $10,000 per year to the International City Management Association Deferred Compensation Plan. A city phone and city vehicle, no set work hours, and cash payments in lieu of health insurance. Normally when spouses have insurance and you use your spouse's insurance, you just leave whatever employee benefits they offer for insurance for health insurance behind. But not in the case of spoiled, entitled, longtime government bureaucrat Joe Salvaggio. This is an insane contract, and it's impossible to even put an exact dollar amount on it. It's an 18-month-long interim contract. They want to lock the new council into this tyrant. It's going to be more of a mess. But it gets even worse. Even if he resigns or they fire him, he gets to return to being police chief if he wants. It's totally outrageous and completely inconsiderate of the police chief who he would be booting out. If he chooses to leave, he'll receive a payout of over $100,000. I've seen a lot of excessive government administrator contracts, but this one is among the worst. Let's see what Bradshaw has to say about the resignation games city manager Kelly Kunstler has played all year.
This is the third time quitting, I believe. So she quit before the May election. If you remember, let me walk back. Right before the May election, she was leaving like a few days before the May election originally. And then coronavirus hit. So she rescinded her contract, or she rescinded her resignation. She extended it and said, you know what, I'm not going to leave because with COVID going on and the budget, I'll stay to the end of September, until the end of September, and I'll help Chief Salvaggio because he's going to be my replacement, and she was going to help him come up to speed and get the budget ready. And so she did that. She stayed, got the budget ready for the next fiscal year, and then now here we are up upon the eve of another election, the next election. She I think that they thought, I think she thought that she had a chance because there was these allegations against me, and they thought they were going to get rid of me, kick me off the council, and appoint somebody else to their seat, and they would continue to have control. She would continue to have power. So she rescinded her resignation again. Instead of just extending it, she rescinded it permanently and said, I'm going to stay. I'm going to keep. And of course, the council majority voted, okay, we'll accept her rescinding her resignation and staying here. They accepted
and there was
it.
a new contract?
And that was like, about a month ago, right? No new contract. They just reinstated her old contract. I argued that it's a perfect time for us to reevaluate her contract and make it more fair to the citizens, because it had all these clauses in it that were in her favor. And no, they just kept it. They just reinstated it.
But there was a pay change or something, or?
Pay change. There was the one thing I caught in there was that her major medical leave she was getting double accrual on that. That was they said it was a mistake, and they said that they fixed it, but I don't have evidence of that. I don't know if that's true or not, if it's been fixed. And so now what's changed between now and then, like I said, it's been a month. She said she was resigning again, she was rescinding her resignation. She's going to stay with us and 4 more years on her contract. And now this federal lawsuit that I filed, the judge said that they cannot remove me. They filed an injunction. They said that they cannot remove me for office for constitutionally protected speech, and I believe it foiled their plans of removing me and replacing me with somebody that they liked. So now they're afraid they might lose the majority. There's the recall election going on, the recall, and then 2 other council seats are challenged. So if they lose 2 out of those 4 seats or 4 things, then they lose the majority. So surprise, the day before the election, she is resigning again. Her last day is going to be December 31st, right? So 2 months. And again, I say this, she's resigning. Don't put it past her if something happens and the recall isn't successful and Mr. Stevens and Mr. Orozco don't win, or somehow she retains the majority. she might rescind her resignation again and stay longer. As long as she can ride it out and have control over the council, I think she will. But she's gonna, if she loses any of those, she could turn in her resignation, save some face, and say, oh, I resigned before the election, right? I find it really interesting that, you know, here we are, day before an election. We have to have this emergency meeting. Kelly is resigning again after the federal judge grants my injunction, and the city is being audited for finances this week, and Kelly is resigning again. I mean, there's a lot of coincidences there going on, and if the council majority changes, I hope that we could bring back up again something that I tried to get done before, is to do a full independent audit, a financial audit and investigation of where is all the money going. We're running about $1 million deficit now, where we never had that before. A lot of money is being spent on attorney fees, but it just seems that there's a lot of money coming in, a lot of money moving around. And I asked the council to investigate these things and let's have an audit, and I couldn't even get a second. Couldn't even get a discussion about it. They just shut it down because they don't want to talk about it. The contract that Kelly Kensler gave herself, and I say that because when our previous city attorney presented with us with her contract, she said, oh, Kelly wrote this, right? She wrote her own contract, and it included things like giving herself a $15,000 increase in her yearly retirement contribution. So she gets $25,000 per year contributed to her retirement account, on top of 7% dollar for dollar matching to her 401k. And one of the things that I don't even remember if I caught it or not, but it was in the contract, you know, that they approved, was that when she leaves the city, when she leaves, she gets paid out all of her major medical leave, which is, you know, it was significant, you know, over $45,000 of leave that normally you wouldn't use. It's like insurance. If something major happens to you that, you know, that takes you out of commission, you know, it's there. It really was what it is. It's insurance in case something major happens and you are out for a period of time.
So she created like her own deferred compensation.
That's correct. She it was retroactive. So she'd been there for 4 years, and all this has been accruing. And then the last year she was here, she changed it to say that pays out now. So now she's going to get paid out for all those 4 years that she's accrued, plus this last year.
And so when normal people look at the contract, they say, okay, major medical leave, hey, sometimes something happens, you know, okay, totally reasonable. But then it turns out this is going to be a huge, it seems like a huge golden parachute for her.
Yeah, exactly. She's walking out of here with over $100,000 of taxpayer money that normally wouldn't be paid out. And it's going to get paid out, and this council, the majority on the council approve of this type of behavior. They enable it, and it's really sad that they don't understand and they're not looking out for the good of the people. You can't quit and appoint the person that's going to take your spot. You can make a recommendation, but to make it in a way that this is what's going to happen, the way that she's done, saying Salvaggio, who's the police chief, who was my student at UTSA in public administration, is going to take my spot. I just think it's ridiculous.
In her resignation letter, she talks about how this is her secession plan, and there was really no council input in any of this. They're just supposed to go and rubber stamp it for their friends. And this isn't the only time when there's been questionable circumstances around who fills her seat. Approximately 6 years ago, she retired from being the Luna County, New Mexico county manager. A man named Tink Jackson was the only finalist and filled her spot. Well, around the time Kunstler became the city manager of Leon Valley, Tink followed her and got a job as a city administrator in a town nearby Leon Valley, and the two were more than just friends for a while. It's ridiculous that the taxpayers can't have a legitimate search and replace Kelly with someone who is a completely new administration, not one of her friends or students or whatever the relationship may be. I'll be streaming the council meeting live on my other channel, Justin Pulliam Live, starting at 5 p.m. on Monday. Last time Salvaggio was up for promotion, David Anderson arrested extra good citizen on his way into the city council meeting. David Anderson campaigns for Republicans, yet constantly complains about YouTubers who survive by making money in the private market. He seems really confused. He was laughing when he forced me to the back of the room last month. I guess was he promoting Republican values of freedom and limited government when he did that? A link to the live stream is in the video description below. Please watch to have our back, and so you'll be there to see what happens of the city manager position. Please like this video, leave a comment. Thank you for watching, and always record all interactions with the government.